everybody, and welcome to Germany. The Talkessel circuit here, just about 2 hours from Berlin. Our first race of the day on MXGP-TV, the FIM Women's Motocross World Championship. We're at the Talkessel circuit. This is the Liqui Moly MXGP of Germany. And my name's Paul Malin. We are live throughout the weekend. We've already been live for our studio show earlier today, where we had Oriol Oliver, Paul Jonas and Marco Maddi. We've just had the time practice sessions for MX2 and MXGP. WMX Race 1, 20 minutes plus 2 laps, about to get underway here at the infamous Talkessel circuit, a venue we've been coming to since 1971. A modest crowd here. They're taking a bit of a break at the moment just to get in and around the paddock, maybe just autograph hunting and things like that. But the circuit here has just had a fresh douse of water all over it. It's hard, it's slick, it's stony, and just right ahead of WMX, of course, let's put a little bit of water down just to keep a bit of moisture into that surface. So you can hear the WMX riders on their sighting lap. The racetrack undergoing one or two changes. It used to be 1,590 meters long. It's now 1,550. Look where the start is. Where the finish line is. Go straight across that U-turn to the next turn and then down through the left-hander where sector 1 is. That whole little infield section there, turn 9, 10, 11 and 12, and the run up towards turn 13, all a slightly different configuration. And so be interesting to see. We've seen it in practice, we've seen it in time practice, but racing it, something entirely different. Anyway, Lisa Leyland was down on the grid a few moments ago. She caught up with Chiara Fontanesi, who was victorious in Spain at round 2 a couple of weeks ago. And before that, home hero, Larissa Pampamaya, who won here last year.
So I'm just on the start of the first WMX World Championship race this weekend, and I have to speak to home heroine, Larissa Pampamaya, because the last time you were here, Larissa, it was definitely a weekend to remember. You took the overall victory on home soil. Nice memories, hey?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, last year was pretty amazing. Also unexpected, for sure, some luck, but yeah, I was just some moment to cry, for sure. And I will not forget this moment. Difficult to repeat this year, but I just go out, have fun, enjoy the fans, and yeah, stay on to it.
I mean, usually I say to the riders, this is the track you know pretty well, but this is a track you know pretty well, Larissa. Larissa just told me that she's been here like, what, 20? You've been coming here for 20 years? But you look like you're 15.
No, yeah, it's true. I've been here for 20 years, so I know this track. I was here from the beginning, so yeah, they changed it a bit. I like the layout, so I'm looking forward for the races.
Enjoy your home round. Thank you, Larissa. Now, I really want to grab a few words with Chiara Fontanesi, mainly because the last round we had in Spain, you took the overall victory, Chiara, the first time since 2021. You sealed it with a race win. How important was that victory for you?
Yeah, for sure, it was mentally super important because, let's say, technically I knew that I had the potential to be there, but somehow something was always missing for one reason or the other. So mentally, I really needed to see myself back on the biggest step of the podium, and especially in those two different kind of situation, you know. Even if I finished second on race 1, I still saw myself fighting until the end, and that was important. So it's mentally for sure very good, but for sure every race is a different story. So let's hope to put together 2 good motos this weekend.
You were looking good in the time practice session as well.
Yeah, I feel really comfortable on the track. I love this kind of track. It's very technical, and when the technical is there, I feel I'm having a lot of fun on the bike, and it's where I can put my potential on the track, and then I finally see myself on pole position, and for sure it's also good mentally, but let's say we need to take a really good start, and the race is another story.
Best of luck, Chiara. Thank you for chatting to us. Okay, good luck to all the girls. It's time for WMX Race 1.
Coming into the championship this weekend, round 3 here in Germany. Lotte van Drunen leads the way. She's had 2 wins, a 5th and a 2nd from the first 2 rounds. She has an 8-point advantage over Chiara Fontanesi, who's had a 4th and a 6th in Sardinia, and a 2nd and a 1st last time out in Lugo in Germany. So here's how they look then in the championship. 88 points Fontanesi on 80. Then third, Lynn Volk tied in third with Fontanesi, but their results in Spain mean that Fontanesi with a 2-1 and Volk with a 3-4. Fontanesi getting the nod there at the moment. Daniela Guillen is only 8 points adrift and 16 off of the lead, so a lot to play for the big four in the championship this year and this weekend. Shana van der Vlis, they're in fifth, about 11 points further back. Then we've got Amandine Verstappen, Larissa Papameyer, Danny Gleeson, Martine Hughes and April Franzoni. Here's how the riders line up. Chiara Fontanesi been fastest in both sessions. Free practice, her time was a 2:03.26. She improved to a 1:56.9 as the circuit conditions dried out. Fontanesi going to the line on pole ahead of the Bartsch Yamaha of Lotte van Drunen, the RFME Spain national team gas rider Daniela Guillen, the Venrui KTM of Lynn Volk and Larissa Papameyer on the SYE racing team for the 423 Honda. 4.2 seconds separate the first four riders. Fontanesi, though, 1.2 seconds clear of Van Drunen. And of course, Chiara Fontanesi eyeing up the potential 6th world title. She took her first win since race 2, Turkey, on the 8th and 9th of September back in 2021. Lotte van Drunen focusing on the job ahead here. She knows her 8-point lead is not a healthy lead. Chiara Fontanesi, fastest in free practice, fastest in time practice, coming in here with the momentum on her side, having won round 2 a couple of weekends ago at Lugo in Spain. Can she keep that momentum going? What about Daniela Guillen? Second overall at a home Grand Prix, managed to do that with a win in race 1, so she's got that first race win under her belt. She's got her first podium out of the way as well. Maybe a little bit less home pressure this weekend. Finally see her get the job done. Larissa Papameyer, the SYE Racing Team 423 Honda rider, your winner here last year. Yes, she said maybe there was a bit of luck, but there was a moment that she celebrated, maybe even shed a tear too last year as well, because it had been a long time coming. Lynn Volk tied second in the championship, but that's third this weekend. She's on the same points as Chiara Fontanesi. A second, a third, and a fourth. Very consistent scores. She'll know she needs to be just as consistent here today to keep that momentum and that championship alive. Martine Hughes, the Norwegian, 9th in the championship in a moment. Lucy Barker, she was rapid in the first practice with 6th, and the young 17-year-old English girl was 8th in time practice at 2:01.698. She drove into the circuit on Friday. She was just off for her morning bike ride with Bertram Torius and Lotte van Drunen. When she's in Europe, she spends a lot of time riding and cycling and training with Lotte van Drunen, does Lucy Barker. So finding a little bit more speed here and there. Says she's fast enough. When I did speak to her when the MX2 riders were doing their practice starts, says she's got the speed, she just needs to stop making the little mistakes here and there. And so basically try and do that here this weekend. Every day a new day, every weekend a new challenge, a fresh start. Lucy Barker, the 15th place in the championship at the moment, doesn't do her any justice, so she'll be hoping to put 2 solid rides together, one today, one on Sunday, race 2. Hopefully move further up the leaderboard in the process. Number 8, Chiara Fontanesi, then the rider going to line on pole. She is in gate number 2 over on the right-hand side. Lotte van Drunen has gone into gate number 1. So first and second in the championship, first, second and third in the championship actually, taking gates 1, 2 and 3. The Fly Racing 15-second board up for the first time this weekend. The Liqui Moly MXGP of Germany, WMX race 1. Tense moments before the start of any race. WMX, the first riders to kick things off here in Germany. Rider getting left behind there, that was Martine Hughes on the gate. Oh, cartwheeling one of the RFME riders, but it's not Daniela Guillen. She emerges in third, but it's Chiara Fontanesi who leads the way. Guillen now in second. This is where they've freshly watered the track. Volk now into second. Van Drunen trying to move into second, as she does, as Volk just moves to the outside, goes from second to maybe fourth as Guillen closes her down, fights back immediately, moves back into that third place though. Towards the end of this short part of the circuit that will take the riders down towards the finish line. Van Drunen up the inside of Volk to move into second. But it's Fontanesi who leads the way. Van Drunen knows she can't afford to go to the outside there, not on the opening lap, not leave the door open, and she holds a nice tight defensive line. Very greasy on the racetrack, as you can see, that fresh dose of water going down. Some of those takeoffs will be slick. Some of the turns will be even slicker as well. Guillen trying to muscle her way past the Dutch girl here. She tries to move into third place on this opening lap. Fontanesi, 2.3 seconds clear. A little bit of a hiccup there for Lynn Volk. Somehow manages to stay in third place, shuts the door on Guillen. Jakobsen in fifth place. Watch this here, over on the right-hand side in pink, just unseated, off balance. Used the upper body strength just to hang on to the front of the motorcycle as she got on the gas, Lynn Volk. Did enough just to stay ahead of the 2.55 of Guillen. The Spaniard coming back for more though. Follow the leader through those bottom corners, as always. Fontanesi almost 3 seconds clear at the moment. Van Drunen legging her way through that second, well, that deep rut in second position. Third, Volk. Fourth, Guillen. Fifth, Jakobsen. Papameyer in sixth. Verstappen 7. Van der Vlis, Franzoni and Gleeson. Lucy Barker must have ran into issues because she is down in 36th place at the moment. Saw a close-up of her on the line a moment ago. But working our way towards the end of this first lap. Fontanesi, the experience of a 6-time world champion, showing now because the other riders that are battling for the championship, Van Drunen, Volk, Daniela Guillen, they seem to be ones making the small little mistakes here, allowing the Italian an almost 4-second advantage just after the opening lap here in Germany. Verstappen up to 7th, Van der Vlis down to 8th, Franzoni, Gleeson, Frentzen and Tyra Backstrom, they all move up to 12th, Salebo down to 13th. Hughes, after stalling on the gate, she's up to 19th place. Guillen around the outside, moves up into 3rd with a move on Volk. Meanwhile, Fontanesi continues to extend her lead to more than 4 seconds now over Lotte Van Drunen, the Debach Yamaha rider, who's looking to reduce that gap as this racetrack dries out. But Fontanesi not throwing caution to the wind. She's just going hell for leather, continuing to push the envelope, opening up that gap. Slick on that takeoff there. You can't even jump across the turn. You've got to almost jump straight for fear of losing the front or the back. Right, if I was the riders there, I would probably go to the middle rut around the outside. It looks a little bit shallower, therefore a little bit less notchy and nadgery. Maybe a little bit smoother in the process as well. Fontanesi, 5 seconds clear now. There, look, slight hiccup there for Volk. Going in, that was Guillen reading that, going around the outside, switching up the line, moving into that 3rd place. She's now got 1.5 seconds, 1.4 seconds gap to Van Drunen. Fontanesi, she had the fastest lap last time around, goes faster again, so from a 2:04 to a 2:02. Number 8, MX Fonta Racing, Gas, comes into land here with almost 6 seconds. Didn't expect this after 2 laps. Chasing dirt around the outside. She can afford to use different lines to everybody else because she's got that gap in her pocket. We'll get a sector time at the bottom of that turn into that right-hander any moment now. It was 5.7 seconds, the gap between Fontenazy and Van Drunen. Comes down to 5.5. So is Van Drunen now just starting to gain in confidence, or is she being pushed by Daniela Guillen here? Either way, one of these two, with a bit of clear air and not being pushed by the other, know they have to dig in deep if they are going to deny Fontenazy a race win. Coming out of this turn here, Fontenazy can always look across and see. It's just gapping it, isn't it? You look across, you say, okay, second was there, now they're here, a little bit further back or a little bit further towards you. Not too many areas on the racetrack where you can do that, really. Catch a glimpse of the rider that's closest to you. The gap coming down to 4.8 seconds now. So these two are turning up the pace. They are first and third in the championship coming in this weekend, or first and fourth in the championship. No, they can't afford any mistakes, certainly when Fontenazy's coming in hot as well. With all of that experience, 4.6 now the gap. So they are chipping away. You know you don't win a race on the opening lap, you can definitely lose it. Maybe a little bit too tentative early on, these two, and they've seemed to broken free. 2.4 seconds now back to Lynn Volk in third. And Van Drunen putting some distance between herself and Daniela Guillen then. So Fontenazy, 202.411 last time around, 203 this time around. And Van Drunen all of a sudden obliterates the fastest lap, 201.804. That gets broken immediately by Daniela Guillen, 201.696. The gap, 4.1 seconds all of a sudden. It was 5.7 or 8 a moment ago on the previous lap. Oh, look at that square edge in the base of that jump that Daniela Guillen hit cleanly. Say cleanly, she hit it clean on, but square on, but she didn't need to hit it. Gap back out to 5.1, so we've had a bit of a response from Fontenazy. Two stabs at the turn there for the 401, the red plate holder and championship leader. Remember, Fontenazy arrived here 8 points clear. Van Drunen arrived here 8 points clear of Fontenazy. They're first and second in the race, but it's second place in the championship who leads this one for now. The gap will come down to 5 points if you put the flag out now. So potentially, this is going to be the biggest test for the championship leader, who's already over Liqui Moly Mountain, 5.2 seconds, so opening up the gap again. And maybe even further because she's gone faster in all three sectors so far. She's put the fastest sector time in sector 1, personal best in sectors 2 and 3, gap staying at 5.2 seconds. A couple of mistakes just costing Volk a little bit of time early on in the race. Back down to 4.6. Here's Larissa Papameyer. She is in 6th place at the moment. So the SYE Racing Team 423 Honda rider chasing Malu Jakobsen. 7:05 Jakobsen, who sits 11th place in the championship. Had her best result last time out with a 6th and a 13th. Got her 10th overall. Papameyer going after the Dane here. Usually, of course, we have Sarah Anderson out here as well, but broken collarbone in Spain for the 325. Not here this weekend, leaving her mate to fly the flag, but she just drifted a little too wide there, did Jakobsen, and all of a sudden it looks like Papameyer may be up in the 5th place. Still no change out of this one. Van Drunen and Guillen, but they're now almost 6 seconds down on Fontenazy again. difficult to suggest working together when you're on rival teams and you're both battling for the championship. Van Drunen knows she needs every point. The fear is if she allows Guillen to go past her, as she's looking ready to do so now, can she match the pace? Go with her, close down Fontanesi, and do anything about the lead? They're still bar to bar as they work their way down the straight, but Guillen does hang on. An urgent response, though, from the Dutch girl. Holds on to that second place. Tripping each other up now, though. 6.1 at the last split. Are we going to be closer to 7 seconds now, this lead? Still hovering around 6.1 seconds, so Fontanesi's speed, her early turn of speed at the opening laps of the race, proving to be the key factor. She's just set the fastest lap again in this race, a 2:03.343. Jakobsen did hang on for that 5th place. Papameyer half a second behind her as they hit the line though at the end of lap 5. Verstappen 7, Van der Blist 8, April Franzoni and Danny Gleeson. And we got Tyra Backstrom in 11th, Martine Hughes, Thea Salebo, Sori Sanchez, Prensen, Schlosser, Kapsema, Ronkiar, Cheplakova. Yeah, these two playing into the hands of Chiara Fontanesi, who continues to extend her lead at the head of the field. Back markers aren't going to be kind. Different points of the race. We've still got just over 7.5 minutes plus 2 to go in this first WMX race here. The the Liqui Moly MXGP of Germany at the Talkessel circuit. Wind's not as bad at the moment as we've had in previous years. Gap back down to 4.9 seconds, so maybe Fontanesi catching 1 or 2 riders ahead of her. Barker there to the outside, going a lap down as Guillen just gets a little bit squirrely coming out of the turn. Riding bullet, the number 9, Virginie Gamond. So I just wonder whether some of these riders had a bit of a coming together. We definitely had one of the Spanish girls go cartwheeling down the start straight at the very start of the race. Just wonder who got caught up in what incident and where. Papameyer still trying her best to find her way past the 7:05 of Jakobsen on the KL Racing Team, KTM. Jakobsen eyeing up a top 5 position here. For the first time this year. But look at the traffic behind her. Papameyer, Verstappen, Van der Blist, an 8-wheeler as we move into lap 7 for this battle for 5th place. Another glance up at the timing screen here. Van Drunen getting the gap down to 4.2. She's put 2.5 seconds between herself and Daniela Guillen. So now, can she focus? It's down to 4.1. So a couple of tenths here and there. That kind of pace not really going to do enough to really challenge Chiara Fontanesi for the lead. Fontanesi losing half a second in sector 1, another 10th in sector 2. It's a very methodical ride, this, from Malu Jakobsen, 7:05. Bit of a kicker there as she took off onto that plateau. Came in a little short on the corner tabletop. She'll go defensive to the inside. That'll force Papameyer to the outside. It's a cleaner run around that middle rut. Not getting bumped around so much, and it's not as tight as you turn in. Andrew put her best lap in last time around, but goes back to a 2:03.6. The gap between first and second, Fontanesi and Van Drunen, 4.3 seconds now, with less than 5 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Fontanesi's being inch perfect. Waved yellows around this turn, so the rider just picking themselves up then, I think. Over on the left-hand side, Fontanesi clear to double her way down. Might have been the 55, Kim Ehrengart on the Honda, making her first appearance in the World Championship this year. Gap's down to 3.7 all of a sudden. And Fontanesi's going to get held up here as well. So she tips out of that turn. There's Van Drunen, there's Guillen. So are we going to see the grandstand finish? Because Guillen, fastest in sector 1, 30.7. Quicker than the 2 girls ahead of her in sector 2 as well. Fontanesi in sector 1. Let's do the first 3, sectors 1 and 2. Fontanesi, Van Drunen and Guillen were 32.2, 31.6, 30.7. Massive gains for the rider in red and yellow, the Spaniard. Then sector 2, 31.5, 31.1, 30.5. Traffic definitely playing its part. You don't need back markers trying to style it for the fans there, as we saw a moment ago. Guillen all over the back of Van Drunen once again. She tried this move a couple of laps ago. She wasn't successful then. She is now. She closes down the door. Guillen now in a second. And that is going to give vital points to Fontanesi. Because all of a sudden, a 5-point gap on the previous lap is now going to come down. Another 2 points. So we're looking at Van Drunen on 108. Fontanesi on 105. Down to 3. Volk on 98. Guillen on 94. Those two fighting over 3rd place. But Daniela Guillen, she got the gap down to about 4.2. It's now down to 3.3. There's Fontanesi just ahead of her. And if Fontanesi looks across and sees one of them making a break for it, then all of a sudden, that's going to put her on high alert, surely. And how does the Italian deal with that? Van Drunen, not normally a hard-pack rider, doing as much work as she can to improve those hard-pack skills. Your championship leader this weekend on the 401. But Guillen, Fontanesi can ride both. 3 seconds. Now the gap on Fontanesi. That's going to cost her time. Daniela Guillen has got her right in her line of sight now as we head out of turn 1 up towards Liqui Moly Mountain. No doubt Fontanesi will have something to say about that if she does cross the line as the winner of the race. Or, especially, if she crosses the line second. Watch this here. Yellow flags. Fontanesi not looking across. Tried to get out of the right, and then that rider moved out of the way. Some of the perils. 1.4, the gap, but that is the gap on screen. And it's going to be 3 laps to go because we've got 56 seconds coming out of this final turn. There's the run down towards the finish line. Big lap this, big 2 laps, or 3 laps actually, for Fontanesi, Guillen and Van Drunen, who all 3 now separated by 3.5 seconds. Looks like it's done Van Drunen a favour actually, because dealing with the pressure from behind, you ride a little bit tight, all of a sudden you're chasing somebody that's a bit quicker than you, you latch onto their lines, you pick up your pace to match theirs, and you're back in the race, and that's exactly what it looks like here for Van Drunen. Right, Fontanesi, it was 2.09, it's now down to 1.2, that's the gap between first and second. Panic rev there for the number 8. She came into land. Can't quite get the step down out of that turn. Van Drunen just too far off the back at the moment, 2.2 seconds. So we're looking at two riders potentially eyeing up the top step, the first place finish in this race. Still hovering around about a second between these two. Both riders need to be clean. They know they can't afford a mistake. Certainly can't afford to get held up by back markers. Blue flag's being waved. This one here stays to the outside, allows the battle to resume. But then, as I say, that swings right across the middle of the track. That's cost Guillen a bit of time, and she's still not heeded. They are the fine margins these girls are dealing with. See the blue flags, you know who the top riders are in the championship, even if you're a rookie or a wild carder this weekend. Wind picking up over the finish line jump. Gap all of a sudden going out to 2.7. It was 1.2. Fontanesi putting in the fastest lap of the race on that lap, 1:59.963. The only rider to go below 2 minutes, but she's still dealing with traffic as well. Guillen maybe with just a little bit too much to do here. 2.7 it was. She's still chipping away, down to 1.8. Has to be mindful. They both have to be mindful of what's going on around them. Fontanesi picking up her first race win last time out in race 2, Spain at Lugo. Her first race win since the 8th of September 2001. The MXGP of Affion, when we had back-to-back rounds that year within the space of a week. Picked up her first Grand Prix victory as well since that same weekend. That day, though, was a 1-1. Here she is, getting ready to move into the final lap, looking to add a second race win of the season. Already has the most race wins under her belt. More than any other rider in WMX. She has 47 at the moment. Duncan, who's absent this year for health reason, has 44 race wins. This was Daniela Guillen moving past Lotte van Drunen to move into second, and she's still circulating in that second place, but 2.6 seconds behind the Italian Chiara Fontanesi now. Fontanesi pulling even clearer on this final lap. Three seconds the gap. Spent too long behind Van Drunen. Who knows, had she got by a lap or so earlier, Daniela Guillen could have been challenging for the race win, but as you can see, Fontanesi 3 seconds clear, top of the hill, already out of sight. Pappenmeyer up to 5th. So those two have been fighting over 5th. Verstappen found a way past. And Pappenmeyer back around the outside, moves back into that 5th place. A little bit of traffic to deal with going into the next corner, but she held the inside line. Pappenmeyer 5th. Both these riders have found their way past Jakobsen as well, who's now down in 7th place. Chiara Fontanesi, handful of corners away from taking the checkered flag. She's broken the resolve of Daniela Guillen. Guillen will have to regroup and focus on race 2, as will Lotte van Drunen. Takes a look over the shoulder. Stand-up wheelie for the 6-time champ, shaking her head as well as she goes past her pit crew in the garage, but downhill for the final time. The checkered flag flies for Chiara Fontanesi, a two-time race winner this year, her 48th career race win. Daniela Guillen crosses the line second, Lotte van Drunen third. We wait for Lynn Volk. She'll be about 19-20 seconds further back in fourth place. And then Papameyer, she had her best lap last time around on lap 11. She's getting ready to come into land on lap 12 though. But Fontanesi, your winner. Daniela Guillen, Lotte van Drunen, Lynn Volk. Papameyer next, coming towards us now in red. Surely. There she is, over on the far side. Papameyer, top five, puts her in a good position for another podium at her home Grand Prix. But from start to finish, Chiara Fontanesi, she was fastest in the free practice, fastest in time practice. She comes away with her second race win of the season. And she has moved to within 3 points of the championship leader, Lotte van Drunen. Lynn Volk 10 points off the lead now. Get the rest of the riders through. Tara Backstrom just going by any moment now. And Matthias Salebo, Alexander Masuri, waiting for her to come through. That's her running towards the line now. 6.5, 7 seconds further back. 8 seconds now. Then the 20 of Tanja Schlosser. Jana Sanchez, Elena Kapsema. Kapsema going through now. That is our point scorers over the line. Kim Irmgartz there on the right-hand side, and Larissa Papameyer on the left in fifth, blowing kisses to the crowd, thanking them for their support, not just today, but over the last 20 years. 2 years ago, she was retiring. Last year, she was retiring. She's decided to give it another go. Anyway, let's go down to Lisa. She is with Chiara Fontanesi, our winner from race one, who's now just 3 points off the lead.
Chiara Fontanesi, massive congratulations. You've looked good all day. You've just picked up back-to-back race wins. Great job dealing with that pressure in that race as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm so happy, because, okay, of course it's good to win, but it's also how you manage to win. And with a lot of pressure, it's been a long time that I don't feel in front the whole race with the pressure from the other. And at one point I thought I was gonna lose the race because of the lap that I lost so much time, and I was completely stuck for literally like 4 seconds in a rut. But I was saying, it's like my brother behind me. It's like training. You don't have to let him pass. And finally I managed to win, and it's unbelievable. I'm living a dream moment at the moment now.
Enjoy the moment. Thank you, Chiara.
Chiara Fontanesi with her second race win, back-to-back race win as well, because Spain, she went 2-1 in the races. Here she starts off in Germany with her first, her second win of the season, her 48th career race victory. Fontanesi moves from 8 points to 3 points behind Lotte van Drunen. Give you the highlights of the race then, shall we? Here's what happened, race one. The Liqui Moly MXGP of Germany, WMX race one. Rider going cartwheeling down. There's a few of the riders off to the right-hand side that got caught in a first turn pileup as well, but it was Chiara Fontanesi, fastest in time practice, who led the way from Daniela Guillen, Lynn Volk, and championship leader in fourth place, quickly moving into third, and second, Lotte van Drunen. From there, we thought she would challenge Fontanesi, but a freshly watered track was slick and treacherous. Daniela Guillen found her way around the outside of Volk to move into third. Volk, though, stumbled in that turn, and that allowed Guillen through into that third place. She then went after Van Drunen. The first time, she wasn't so fortunate. Van Drunen holding a tight line. Meanwhile, just behind them, Verstappen found a way round the outside of Papenmeier to move into 5th or 6th place as they chased down Malu Jakobsen. Later on in the race, Guillen did finally get the better of Van Drunen as she moved into 2nd. That was on lap 8. That was the 4-second congestion that caught out Fontanesi, that allowed Daniela Guillen to close in to within about 1.4 seconds, and then 2 laps to go. Larissa Papenmeier got the better of the Belgian Verstappen to regain that 5th place. No one a match for Fontanesi, though. 4.7 seconds clear to take her 2nd race win of the season. Guillen 2nd, Van Drunen, Volk and Papenmeier your top 5. Let's give you the race results, shall we? Chiara Fontanesi then with her 2nd race win of the season. Daniela Guillen 2nd, Lotte Van Drunen 3rd. Lynn Volk 4th, Larissa Papenmeier, Amandine Verstappen, Malu Jakobsen and Charlotte van der Vlis. They were your top 8. The French rider April Franzoni coming home in 9th, and then Danny Gleeson. Then we had Martine Hughes, who stalled on the start. She worked her way back to 11th. Had a Tyra Backstrom, Matea Salebo, Alexandra Masuri, Tanya Schlosser and Jana Sanchez, with Elena Kapsema, Nelly Franson, Laura Runkiar and Mara Benecke. Put a bit more water down on those slick patches. 125s are up next. Is that less power, less wheel spin? So as they prep the start straight, soak the track, take a look at some of the best moments. When we return, it will be in about 7.5 minutes from now. EMX 125, presented by FMF Racing, Race 1.